Okay, I'm back. Let's go ahead and slip stitch to join. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go ahead. Sometimes since I stitch very tightly, I can't, and with these larger hooks it's kind of hard. I don't want to be splitting my yarn or anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and play with it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go up 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna look at my pattern. We're already on row 4, so I'm gonna look at my pattern and what does it say for row 5. Okay, okay, from row 5 to 14, I will be doing 1 double crochet in each row, and then I'm gonna fasten off. So from this point and on, so this is my 4th row, I'm done. So from this point and on, I'm just gonna do 1 double crochet all around my starting circle. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do in row 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 into row 14. It's gonna be paired double crochets all around. So I'm gonna do the first couple with you, and then I'm gonna stop, and then I'm gonna finish my 14 rows. And I'm gonna finish until my 14th row, and then we can join and fasten off, and the beanie will be done. So this starts as my first double crochet. So in the next stitch, I'm gonna go ahead and do a double crochet. Okay, so that's, whoops, I skipped one. Sorry. Okay. So I'm gonna be doing 1 double crochet in each stitch. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whoops. Remember, you're gonna be crocheting into this little loop right here in between, not in the bottom one, not this one, but this one. There's gonna be the loop, and then there's gonna be the 2 on the top, the 2 little V's, or the 2 little marks that makes the V. So just remember that you're gonna be crocheting into that little loop, not the bottom, but the top, because it's fine, it'll work fine, but it'll just give you a totally different look on the stitch, and you want to keep all your stitches kind of uniform. My first beanie, you saw I did some into the little loop, some outside the loop. I mean, it worked fine, but yeah, some stitches did look different. So and I was wondering, why am I getting different stitches? And it's because I would do one in the little loop and then one outside the loop. So just be careful when you're crocheting that you are doing it in the right place. Some patterns call for doing it there, and that's fine. A lot of the basket patterns do that. When I do my basket patterns, I usually stitch in this little empty space. I just like it. I think it gives me a better stiffness, a better hold on the stitch, and I like the way it looks. But on this hat, we have to make sure we stitch in the little loop, because then it looks a little weird, looks kind of dwarf. And some stitches call for just stitching in this loop, in this back loop. Okay, And some of them, they tell you to crochet in the front loop. So it will be this one right here, the front loop. Okay. Some of them tell you to do it in the post. So you do the post right here. Or you can do a back post. Okay, or a front post or a back post, whatever you want to do it. So just be careful and make sure you follow the patterns and that you understand exactly where they're telling you to crochet, because it's gonna look similar, but it's not gonna be the same, and it's probably gonna be because you didn't crochet in the right place that they tell you to crochet, or your stitches are too tight or too loose. So just think about that when you're doing your patterns. Kind of know that sometimes when you're getting the hang of things, you might have to do your project once or twice, like redo it, take it apart and redo it, just so you can get the right tension and the right stitch. Okay, so don't get disappointed. Don't think that it's just too difficult. It's just that some patterns are a little bit more difficult, and the person that's writing the pattern crochets differently than you. Just remember that there is no such thing as the same crochet for every person. Every person has a different tension, a different way of crocheting, and it's possible to get the similar item, but it's impossible to get the same identical item, just because of that, because of the tension and the way where you actually crochet, and also how you do your stitches, because I was talking about that last time in my crochet story. Some people do their double crochets differently in different places. Like, for example, the European way of crocheting is different than the US version of crocheting. It's similar, it's just sometimes the stitches are made differently, and in Mexico they crochet the European way. So sometimes when I'm following a Spanish pattern, I have to really pay close attention how they're looping and how they're making their stitches, because when I was making a tea towel that I gave to my mother-in-law, and I'll post a picture of it, I did that edging for that tea towel like 7 times. I'm not joking. I had never really yarned with the floss yarn, and that was my first time. So I had the wrong hook side to work with that yarn. And then on top of that, I was doing my double crochets differently. They do an extended version of the double crochet, and I was doing this version of the double crochet. So the napkin usually used to curl on me, like it warped. It kind of looked like a little pocket, kind of like wanting to fold into itself. So I had to do that, and I had to add stitches that weren't in the pattern to make sure that it stayed nice and flat. I was having such a hard time, and when I talked to my mother-in-law, she had such a big laugh in my expense, because she's like, honey, you're crocheting with the wrong size, and then you're crocheting the wrong stitch. And I felt so dumb. I was like, man, I should have just called her and asked. But you know, she tried to teach me to crochet several times, and it just didn't take. So I kind of feel kind of hesitant to ask her, because she always says, oh, well, I don't know what's wrong with you, because you never learned with me. And it's just, you know, it's just they have different methods of teaching, and I didn't take to their method. I just found the making chains and not having a project or something just madness. I felt like I was just wasting time. So like I said, if you're a beginning crocheter, it's beginning, try a small easy pattern, even a dish towel or something simple, but try to do something, a pattern, some sort of item, whether it's a ball or a circle, a pot holder or a drink cozy. It doesn't matter. Just try to do something so when you are learning, you feel like you're accomplishing something. It's not just you making chains like there's no tomorrow. I mean, I just felt like, seriously, they made it so boring for me, and they made it so difficult for me that I really didn't. It took me a while to learn. That's why I'm so grateful to Yolanda from the Elf Craft channel, because she's the one that really was able to teach me how to crochet. And I don't know, it's just these like I said, I started to crochet because I wanted to do the manga or character beanies or anime beanies, whatever you want to call them. And I mean, it was so easy. Like, this beanie actually was the one that I started, and I did do it like 3 to 5 times until I got it right. But I felt like at the end of the first try that I was getting somewhere, that I was accomplishing something, that it felt like impossible to me. So I'm almost done, and this is the round that I will do with you, which is number 5, and then I will do the rest by myself, and then I will log in again or come back to the turn on the camera again, and we'll go ahead and fasten off together. But yeah, thank you for watching, and please check out Yolanda's channel and subscribe. This is her pattern, and if you want to see actually learn from her, go ahead and check her out. She has a bunch of tutorials, and she has other tutorials where she uses the same pattern for this hat. So go ahead and check her out, and she explains a little bit further on sizing and what hook too she recommends for different sizes. And yeah, she is very good at explaining. 1, 2, 3, so my 3rd chain, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a slip stitch. Like I said, some people can do it in one fell swoop. I do it in 2 because I usually tend to struggle with that. So you see how it's curling up? That is the beginning of your beanie. So this is the top of the head, and this is what's gonna go around like towards the forehead, and what's gonna wrap around the forehead. This is what's gonna sit on top of your head, and this is what's gonna end up wrapping around your forehead. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on row 7 through 14, and I'll be right back.